Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Good evening. It is Wednesday and it is episode. Did I update my episode number? I hope I did. 381? I really hope that's right. I'm pretty sure I did. Well, I didn't stream yesterday, so we made a new bottom. Not a new bottom, a local bottom. Ultimately, the lowest point that we will probably ever see now that we have the super trend in our favor. Hey, that's new, at least. Bitcoin has risen from what was this? How low did we hit? 62,000. Come on, give me a real number. 62,449 was our absolute lowest at some point yesterday. And today we have risen to basically where we had our resistance level right over here. 69,939 was where that was at. We hit ultimately $69,993.90. We were half an inch from 70,000. Meaning, of course, that 70,000, yeah, sure, that is your most important resistance level on Bitcoin. Lovely. What has happened since yesterday? Trump addressed the whole nation at the State of the Union. A long speech, and I didn't watch it all, but I watched the majority of it. I tried to, at least. I don't know, yesterday I was so tired I just went to sleep, like, really early. So, I don't know. I'm not really a person that sleeps early, but I'm going to be doing a bit of a schedule change. So I'll be doing things earlier, waking up earlier, sleeping earlier. Let's see how much that ruins my life. Well, anyways, uptrend confirmed on Bitcoin. That's because super trend managed to drop all the way down to 68,500, which we managed to break out of, finally. And now the super trend is in our favor, meaning we do have an uptrend. Invalidates at 60,800. It basically is where that support level that I mentioned, I kind of assumed that we would hit that level 61,000 approximately. We ultimately didn't end up dropping that low, which is a good thing. Not complaining at all. I would rather that not happen. And ultimately, we just had a lot of shorts being liquidated as well amongst this rise, which we will be getting into. Yeah, so should be great. Yeah, we're trying to hover around 67, 68,000. I put in the thumbnail 67,000. Oh well. We're half right, okay? It was at that amount when I took the screenshot. Now, what to expect next on Bitcoin? Are we going to rise to these highs? No, I really do not think so. And I was honestly kind of hoping that we would break whatever downtrend, super trend we would have by some point next week. It happened a bit earlier today. We just had a sudden bounce, which I'm not complaining either. The only thing that concerns me is this downtrend line itself. Where does this come from? Nothing too important, and it actually can be manageable and breakable. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. I'd mainly worry about this other one, which comes from our all-time high. Further supported by the January high that we hit at 98,000. That's the downtrend line that I'd be focusing on, which we could see within the next 2 or 3 weeks. Testing that level, if Bitcoin is to recover on its way back up. How high? I'm assuming 80,000. And what will I do at 80,000? Probably sell at a break even, right? Maybe. And if it ultimately ends up flipping the trend over in the weekly chart, I'll wait for a major... I'm going to expect a major correction, but we're probably not going to get it, and this thing is just going to moon, because that's just how the markets work. It goes against me every time, no matter what I decide to do. So, yeah, for now, this is the downtrend line that I'm paying attention to. But I feel like it's easily going to be breakable. Now that we do have the uptrend on our side, maybe it's a fake out, or maybe we will indeed follow through with this, but it's a bit steeper if you're looking at it in a larger time frame, such as the weekly chart, the weekly charts. So within the next 2-3 weeks, like I said, I feel like this kind of makes more sense. What's on the 18th of March, right? Coincidentally, this downtrend line hitting the 80,000, I feel like that's going to be where Bitcoin's price should approach as time goes on. I don't know how it moved. Maybe something like this, right? Now, the uptrend line, good luck drawing one. How would we even draw one if that is the bottom? I really cannot. Unless we're taking, like, literally 2023 lows, and that's kind of not fair in my opinion. But it's going to look something like this. I don't know if I fully trust that. Oh, that does not even look good over here, I just realized. I don't know, it's going to be something like this then. Can I do like a extended ray instead? I never really use this, but I'll try it out here. Yeah, that kind of works. Yeah, that kind of works. Maybe. I'll draw it there for now just to see how, you know, price behaves around this area. But I do expect this downtrend line to break pretty easily. I'd, you know, combine it with the 70,000 resistance. I don't feel like we're going to break above 70,000 this week. We might still, like, you know, hover around the 60s for a while. Next week, I do expect a breakout for 70,000. The week after that will be in 70-something, and maybe in that third week, second or third week, we'll see the, you know, the test of the 80,000, which I do expect major resistance there by that point. So maybe we manage to not break that. Whatever noise happens in between, this is what I expect to see around mid-March. Bit of a rise, bit of a recovery, and, you know, maybe I will sell at break even over here. Because if I do expect a rebound rather, from this line toward the downside again, I'm going to have to start DCAing, and I do not want to have any position open above 80,000 if this market is expected to go lower. We've seen how low the optimism can be. Nobody wants to buy crypto right now. This, I don't know what you want to call it. There's no real catalyst behind the move. Maybe Jane Street getting sued. Maybe, I don't know, us clowning on Sam Bankman-Fried, whom I will be talking about tonight. Or just, I don't know. Really not much has changed in terms of fundamentals. Like, normal fundamentals without geopolitics, Bitcoin is super strong. Now, we do have the Clarity Act expected to happen also in March. Maybe that gives us the rise a bit earlier than expected, who knows? Or maybe it gets delayed and ruins everything again and we just go on about our days. Or maybe it's a nothing burger. I doubt it will be. I think Clarity Market Structure Bill will be a very important move for the crypto industry. Everybody's got their eyes on it. So I don't feel like a lot of people are really pricing that in yet. Perhaps we are indeed very oversold. I would agree with that stance. Okay. So yeah, that's what I think. Can I adjust this? Yes, I can. Just really micro adjusting these lines. Okay. That's what I think for these markets for now. This is the uptrend line that we're kind of paying attention to. Kind of. Otherwise, I guess you'd really focus on something like this. If Supertrend is expected to rise around this previous support level at 63,000, 62, 63, we'll see how that performs as time goes on. But yes, I'm expecting movement toward the upside from here for the next hold on, 1, 2. I need to like actually time this. How well will I be able to time this? Something like this, right? 1, 2 weeks. Yeah, maybe by the third week, some point early third week. Around mid-March. Beginning of March, when is that over? It's literally now. I just realized. This month is about to end. Wow. Yep. Okay, well, that's life, I guess. It just moves on. Without any pardon, without any excuse, without any permission. Just decides to go crazy. Here's Ethereum doing the impossible, rising to 2,150 basically. 2,147 was the highest it hit. Supertrend flipped over. Now that Bitcoin has flipped its supertrend, I feel more confident in the coins that are flipping their supertrends over as well to become in an uptrend. Now, obviously, you do have to worry about stuff like this. Downtrend lines being in the way, which Ethereum has successfully respected. So just gotta see how the developments of Bitcoin are, which I feel like is just going to be lateralizing in the 60s for a while longer. That means Ethereum could lose the 2000 support. I feel like it's weak. But we'd still hover around 1800, 1900. Should be fine. Hello, Greg Crypto. Happy Wednesday. Good evening. Okay, Solana 87. $87.74. Also flipping its super trend again. So fake out toward the upside, fake out toward the downside. Now back to the upside. I don't know. I think we'll keep this uptrend for sure now. But same deal, we do have to worry about whatever downtrend lines we have drawn over here, and it would all be dependent on Bitcoin's price movement. The $90 Solana equivalent is Bitcoin's 70,000, right? I mean, it kind of makes sense, this rejection that we're seeing over here, which means that I expect Solana to be around in the 80s for the rest of this week, perhaps. I don't know. I'm not expecting crazy movements. Friday, we might get some movement, but that's just PPI data, and honestly, I think people are pretty indifferent or pessimistic when it comes to that kind of data because we got unfavorable PCE data. Fears of stagflation are still in the talks. And then how much can PPI really improve our odds at seeing any rate cuts at all? The only thing that people are really looking at is the month of December. Will we have our third rate cut? Yes or no? We're expecting at least 2. Fed only projected at least 1, so we're already being excessive or greedy in our projections by expecting 2 rate cuts. And a third rate cut that could potentially happen by December would be beneficial, but we have to see, of course, how market data goes. But the Feds seems like they're open toward it, and we're having a new Fed chair coming in soon, which should hopefully do the right thing. We don't know. He's got a sketchy past, but we trust in Trump, I guess. He's appointed him to do the right thing he's supposed to. So that's what I think. Hyperliquid, downtrend still. Didn't really manage to recover much. We ultimately topped out at 29. Supertrend invalidates at 30. Do we still have room to rise? We absolutely do. Hyperliquid tends to do its own thing, so it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if we just suddenly start seeing it, rise while the rest of the market stays choppy. That being said, we did bottom out at the support level right over here, 25. 61 is our lowest. Why did I not stream? It was 24. This is 23rd. I guess we did, see these levels while I was live. Yep, so that was the bottom for Hyperliquid. For now, I don't know. We're still technically in a downtrend for it, but I don't think it's going to be sustainable. It's going to be similar to what we're seeing with Solana, where downtrend was short-lived after being in an uptrend. Right? And now we are back in an uptrend. I just feel like Hyperliquid's being a bit slow to the party. Fair enough. Take your time. Same deal with Sui, by the way. Sui breaking past $1 here. Miraculously. $1.02. Super trend invalidates at 79 for an uptrend this time. I don't know from where we're drawing an uptrend, but hey, good luck, I guess. Let me go, back here. Ray. There you go. Something like that, I guess. Downtrend, I do not see it for now for Sui. That's gone. We only have to worry about whatever this is, but we've got plenty of room to run for Sui, which I do want it confirmed above $1, of course, which, I mean, we're kind of poking through it. I feel like $1 being a resistance is getting weaker and weaker as time goes on, and if we're expecting Bitcoin to rise in the coming weeks, I do feel like, so we should also be benefited from this kind of movement. And the explosives will be rather larger as well. What do I want to wait for with Sui? As I'm expecting choppiness this week, maybe we get some downward movement here. Supertrend starts rising along with it. As soon as it starts making its swing toward the upside, I do want to get that confirmation first, though. Then I'd be more than glad to go long, something like that. Hey, get out of here. Right? It makes sense. 130 as a resistance. I mean, we were looking at that as a support for the longest time ever. Support, support, support. Ultimately breaking down of that support. Now we're looking at that potentially to be a resistance. I mean, that's an easy 1-3 trade with this terrible chart that I've drawn, if that is to happen. So we'll see if that does manage to play out. I don't have any money anyway, so there you go. That's financial advice, not financial advice. Moving on, Chainlink. $9.21, lovely. Same fake out twice now. Uptrend invalidates at 794. Yeah, we're at 921, like I said. So same deal. Choppiness toward the downside, I'm expecting. Bit of a correction from this rise. Overbought, by the way, that's impressive. And yeah, around something $8. Same deal, maybe potential for good entry. The only thing you got to worry about is this downtrend line. which I feel like it should be easy to break through. If Bitcoin is able to do so, why shouldn't the alts? With more reason, the alts will be able to break through anything if Bitcoin manages to fully get out of that downtrend line and head toward its next stop, which would be around 80,000. But that should be enough time and space for the alts to rise. Litecoin, look at that, perfectly breaking out of this downtrend line now. So, no more downtrend. Whatever I had drawn in the past is now invalid. How long ago was this downtrend line for? Well, this one comes from literally the weekly chart. Now, how high could we expect Litecoin? I'd say maybe 90. 80 something for sure. Which, from 56 where it's at right now, it's a pretty good rise. 50% rise, maybe. And this is for, like I said, weekly type movement. If this bear market is to be prolonged, though, then yeah, it will be annoying, of course. But you can still take advantage of any rises that come with it. Before, hold on, I would say something moving like this. That kind of makes more sense. If super trend, depends on where it flatlines, right? Ultimately, when the super trend flips in our favor, then that would be the good stuff with Litecoin. That's where you'd want to be in. Okay, get rid of all that. What else do we need? I guess we also look at BitTensor, up 5% today. Also kind of getting rid of this downtrend line in the weekly chart, but we do have other bigger ones to worry about as well, so let's not celebrate too early. What do we have here? So it seems like it never invalidated its downtrend, which that's a good thing for a BitTensor, right? Fair enough, it has been very oversold. I was further expecting more lower movement, especially if Bitcoin was hitting 61,000, which, I mean, it didn't really do that. So there was no real reason for BitTensor to continue lower. Here we are retesting whatever downtrend line this is, which I've kind of even delayed it at this point, but we're still trying to break through out of it. 200 being our main resistance that we shall approach on a good day if it rises 9%. Other than that, I expect maybe the drop of 9% or just choppiness, sideways movement until Bitcoin starts making the bigger moves above 70,000. You could expect to see BitTensor above 200 by then. Hedera, up 2% today, peaking at this resistance right over here at 10,689. Okay, and also keeping its uptrend, similar to BitTensor. I'm equally as impressed that none of them have broken their uptrend lines. So I guess if we do confirm that this is bottom, that's what it would look like for now. And you've got the triangle of doom. Where is this downtrend line coming from? It's not an all-time high, but it's a very high point. July 2025. That was a high point for a lot of alts. And then I guess this is all-time high in January 2025 for Hedera, reaching 40 cents. Will that ever happen again? Nope. But you still got plenty of room to rise as we approach whatever other downtrend lines are next. If this is the uptrend line that we are to expect to follow, I kind of doubt it, because at some point, you know, we'll have a horrendously large rise and then just some lower movement before we eventually, like, you know, start making another high, and then you just have to adjust the uptrend, something like that, if that is to be the case, but we shall see. I also love how I drew my chart, like, backwards, how the price, like, moves back in time. I don't know if you saw that. Anyway, I'm exaggerating my drawings, but you get the point. Monero, doing a nice breakout. How are we looking in the 4-hour chart? Ooh, we're really close there. 350 is where this downtrend invalidates. That's your call to go max long once we do a movement like this, okay? Break out of the 350 a little bit, wherever resistance takes us, draw back a little bit, and then on the way back up again, that's when you kind of want to confirm your entry. Because it could be the case that we just break out, make a false, you know, trend switch over, and then this thing just ultimately keeps on dropping, and then you're stuck with whatever position you have on here. So that's why you got to wait for confirmation first. On Monero, if we do manage to break out, go back down, retest whatever lines we've got, and then we start making our move upwards. Hold on, can I like, yes I can draw this. Hold on. This is what the downtrend line is technically supposed to look like right now. We managed to go back down here, retest it, and then start heading on our way back up again. That's when I'd go max long. Something like that. Because you would also have the super trend in your favor, which should invalidate around here. And as price moves on, you know, the better for you. And your uptrend line would look something like that. I guess that would kind of make sense, right? We'll see how it goes, so I'll keep this drawn for now. Paying close attention to what happens around 350 on Monero, and I'll keep this drawing here, because I want to see if I actually hit those. I'm going to get rid of these, but I'll keep this drawing here, I guess. I don't know, we'll see how price behaves here. Okay, that's all I have for my crypto analysis. Lovely, 20 minutes, 21 minutes. Let's get into the news. All right, all right. So the State of the Union happened yesterday, which is this big conference between all these political members, and they did not mention crypto or Bitcoin at all at the State of the Union. So we can just disregard the whole 2 hours and 30 minutes of yapping that was there. But, I mean, there was still a lot of cool stuff that was talked about. Let's not trash on it completely. First of all, I mean, Trump started off strong by calling for a congressional stock trading ban bill at the State of the Union, and also literally referencing Pelosi, calling her out in the middle of everyone. Is like, oh, I see a lot of Democrats are standing up and applauding for this one. Did Nancy Pelosi stand up to clap? You know, let's ensure that members of Congress cannot corruptly profit from using insider information. Our nation is back. We're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it. I mean, I'm not really winning, but sure, I guess. I was winning at some point. Can we go back to that? Can we make America great again as it was in 2024 or 5? I don't know. 2025 was a shaky year, but ultimately, credit where it's due. We did hit all-time highs, okay? Despite all the tariffs and horrendous crashes that we all went through. I lost a lot, but hey, I ended up losing a lot more on October 10, and that is just unforgivable. Al Green. Oh, this guy again. Remember last year? He did this exact same thing. What did he do here? He got removed from Congress by security after unfurling a "Black people aren't apes" sign. Haha, get it? Because Trump accidentally shared that one video on Truth Social of Barack Obama and Michelle Obama as apes by accident. He was showing an educational video first, and it was like a TikTok or a reel or something, and it auto-scrolled to the next video, which happened to be a AI meme of the Obamas dancing to the King of the Jungle, Mighty Jungle, whatever the song is, and as apes, which I found it funny. I laughed. Al Green also, last year, was raising his cane and shaking his fist at Trump and causing a disruption during the inauguration speech, and he ultimately, same deal, had to be escorted out. At first I'm like, who is making all this commotion? Who is this random? And then I found that it's this guy, Al Green. I think this is the second time I've ever heard about him, and it's for the exact same thing. Outside of like this kind of disruption at these specific events, I've never heard of this man, Al Green, which is, that should be enough said, right? We have the best border. S&P 500 hit 7,000. Yeah, but what about my cryptos, man? So he mentions the Dow Jones and the S&P 500, but makes no mention of Bitcoin or crypto. Okay, sure. That's fine. The Dow broke 50K, and then the camera switches to Pam Bondi. How ironic. Whoever was cameraman here, or whoever was controlling the video switching, they did a great job multiple times. This is like comedically perfect timing. If you don't understand the reference with Pam Bondi, is when she had that hearing against all those other members of Congress that one time about the Epstein files, they were pressuring her really hard. Like, hey, why are you protecting these pedophiles from the Epstein files? And she's like, why are we worrying about that? We should be worrying about the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ and the Dow Jones hitting all-time highs and outperforming everything. Stock markets are great. And we're like, okay, well, yeah, but what about the Epstein files? Why aren't you unredacting everything and releasing all the information? Whatever. So there you go, comedically timed. Perfect. So in my first year of the second term should be my third term, but strange things happen. Haha, funny, get it? Stolen election 2020. War on fraud is now official, and it will be led by Vice President J.D. Vance, the whole stuff that's happening in Minnesota. Corruption is plundering America. Shouting match between Ilhan Omar and Donald Trump. There was one point, I don't even know who this is, but I guess she's like equally aligned with Ilhan Omar, I guess. There was this other video I saw of when people were chanting USA, USA in the Congress room. She was saying KKK with her mouth. Like, you can't hear her, but you can see her mouth movement. And her mouth movement was not looking like it was saying USA. It looked like it was just saying KKK because she kept opening her mouth the same way. And you get the point, right? KKK, Trump is racist, haha, funny. Well, Trump took a stab at Ilhan Omar as well when it came to the Somali pirates, the fraud that's happening in Minnesota, and once again, cameraman doing his thing, points it directly at Ilhan Omar. Comedic timing. I love it. It's perfect. Trump talked about Mandami, even the new communist mayor of New York City. I think he's a nice guy. I speak to him a lot. Lovely. These people are crazy, Trump, as he points to the Democrats. Why would anyone not want voter ID unless you want to cheat? Yeah, that's facts, though. Trump's shout out to Erica Kirk. Apparently she made an appearance. Trump described the murder of Irina Zarutska with her mother present in the chamber. That's a difficult moment. The parents of Irina Zarutska, the Ukrainian refugee who was stabbed by a big black homeless guy on a bus or a train, whatever it was. That went viral, of course. Yeah, here's more of that footage. The camera focuses on Anna Zarutska, the mother of the murdered Ukrainian girl Irina. I'm assuming this is the dad. I don't know who this is. I mean, who else would be? Anyways. Trump ended 8 wars. Please end Russia-Ukraine. Trump on Ukraine and ending the 9th war. Oh, they're already there. Okay. And then Iran, of course. Iran shot and killed a gazillion people and is making ballistic missiles that will reach America. Pretty sure there's not a gazillion people in the world, let alone in Iran, but okay. On the drug boats, with our new military campaign, we have stopped record amounts of drugs coming into our country and virtually stopped it completely coming in by water or sea. You probably noticed that. We seriously damaged their fishing industry also. Nobody wants to go. I put America first. Golden age of America is upon us. The revolution that began in 1776 has not ended. He said this concluding his 1 hour 41-minute State of the Union address. Yep, just read that, and I think that's all. I mean, that's mainly the most important points. The main thing that we truly care about on this channel is the mention of Bitcoin and crypto. I don't know, say Shiba Inu coin or something so that we can be happy for once. No, but he didn't make any much of a mention apparently, so that's okay. Apart from the, shouting match that he had with Ilhan Omar, Trump also posted this on Truth Social. Doubling down, I guess. When you watch low IQ Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, I guess that's the other woman that was sitting on the right of her or left of her, as they screamed uncontrollably last night at the very elegant State of the Union, such an important and beautiful event, they had the bulging, bloodshot eyes of crazy people, lunatics, mentally deranged and sick, who frankly look like they should be institutionalized. Here she is. When people can behave like that, and knowing that they are crooked and corrupt politicians, so bad for our country, we should send them back where they came, as fast as possible. There you go, talking about deporting the poor lady. She's not poor lady, she's fine. They can only damage the United States of America. They can do nothing to help it. They should actually get on a boat with Trump deranged Robert De Niro, another sick and demented person with, I believe, an extremely low IQ, who has absolutely no idea what he is doing or saying, some of which is seriously criminal. When I watched him break down in tears last night, much like a child would do, I realized that he may be even sicker than crazy Rosie O'Donnell, who is right now in Ireland, trying to figure out how to come back into our beautiful United States. The only difference between De Niro and Rosie is that she is probably somewhat smarter than him, which isn't saying much. The good news is that America is now bigger, better, richer, stronger than ever before, and is driving them absolutely crazy. That's Trump's comments on it all. Nice. Moving on. Did you see Gavin Newsom dropped out of the presidential race? Is that real? Grok, is this true? No, it's not true. Okay, well, there you go. Fake news, live on the channel. That's why you subscribe for here. What is wrong with my OBS? Okay, we're good. Gavin Newsom has not dropped out of the 2028 presidential race. It shows him actively discussing a potential run, saying that his family will decide, but he's not ruling it out. While on a book tour seen as campaign prep, Trump's Truth Social post is incorrect. Okay, so what is this about? Literally, Trump is spreading fake news this time around. I'm sure we can see this on Polymarket, right? Democrat. Okay, come on. Democrat presidential nominee. Gavin Newsom is still in the lead, despite this little rumor. Can you please load? Thank you. Yeah, Gavin Newsom is still the top pick. Then it's AOC, Kamala Harris. I don't know who this guy is. Josh Shapiro, Pete Buttigieg. I don't know who this guy is. Mark Kelly. I don't know who these people are. JB Pritzker. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. All right. Michelle Obama, that's an easy no. She literally said she would not. Zoran Mamdani, that's crazy. The guy is only a mayor. Relax. Isn't Barack Obama not allowed to have a third term? Anyways. A lot of these are free money then. What else has been going on? Congressman William Timmons said that tomorrow he is headed to New York to depose Hillary and Bill Clinton regarding Jeffrey Epstein. Remember that they agreed to that, so tomorrow is going to be the day. The American people deserve complete and total transparency. Let me know your questions for the Clintons at our depositions below, and people are already asking. Please ask her what about these 2 emails. Please bring the hammer and the toy I like to use to comet tonight. Okay, what? Also, if you have time, swing by the office and grab my inhaler. Nothing gets my heart going like sacrifice night. HC, Hillary Clinton. What is going on? I'm not reading all that, but this is highlighted. Moloch, that is a demon. That is indeed a demon, right? Moloch. Child sacrifice demon. Ancient Canaanite deity associated in the Hebrew Bible with child sacrifice. Yes, I was literally reading this in the Bible. That's crazy. But apart from this, Bill Gates also admits he had 2 affairs with Russian women, apologizes to staff over Jeffrey Epstein ties. Confirmed, public. That also confirms that the STD story is true. Sucks to suck. Moving on. The Charlie Kirk Highway seems like it's not going to happen anymore. Texas has dropped their plans of naming a highway after Charlie Kirk due to 100 plus people showing up to oppose it. That's it, just 100 people disagree and you destroy the plans of renaming a highway the Charlie Kirk Way? Come on now. But okay. China started importing large amounts of Russian oil. It surges to over 2 million barrels per day, which basically offsets Russia's 40% drop in shipments to India. If you don't recall, the reason why this is going on, Trump has put tariffs on India because they are the biggest buyers of Russian oil. And we don't want them to buy Russian oil so that Russia stops receiving money to continue the war in Ukraine, to pressure them to end the war sooner. Smart move, by the way. Now, India has even doubled down, and so has the United States by doubling their tariffs. They didn't want to give up buying Russian oil, despite the fact that they are basically funding the war with all of that. Now, later on, they finally agreed to get rid of Russia as a partner for buying oil and started going toward the United States because ultimately it's cheaper. It's more, I don't think it's more convenient, but it will be cheaper, right? Due to the heavy tariffs that they will also have to pay on literally any other good on their country. So now Russia has lost a major buyer, their biggest buyer of their oil. But who is replacing them now? Seems like it's China. So the show goes on. That's all there is for that. On the other hand, we're doing the best we can by giving them even more money. Mark Carney announces an additional $2 billion in aid to Ukraine, including 400 armored vehicles. Here, probably have an agreement. What's 2 billion divided by the Canadian population? $48 per person. Wow, so I just sent $48 to Ukraine. Well, I mean, how many of us? Yeah, I guess I did. Let's go. On the other hand, this is the worst January on record for new home sales in the Toronto area since 1981. Is that a good thing? I think so. Maybe not for real estate agents. But, I mean, housing prices are incredibly high. So they started to come down a little bit. These are just 269 home sales. There were just 269 new home sales in January, which was down 36% from January 2025 and 80% below the 10-year average. Let's go. And also the interest rates, I guess. I mean, they're not even that high, but okay. What else we got? U.S. Senator Blumenthal is probing Binance over reports it processed $1.7 billion in transactions linked to sanctioned Iranian entities and Russia's shadow fleet, which Binance denies. Hey, would be crazy if that's actually real, that Binance allowed this. Although, I mean, crypto is for everybody, is what we say, right? Including the criminals, as much as we hate to admit that. So, would it be fair to probe them for this? I don't know, man. We'll see. Matt Gaetz, the former congressman, he was supposed to be the attorney general, but ultimately stepped down. Well, he seems to be bullish on crypto now. What else do we do when we've hit our midlife crises and we're trying to appeal to... I don't know what we're doing here, but okay. He says that he launched a new product, I guess. He said, I wanted to buy the crypto dip, but I didn't want to deploy cash. Block Trust IRA helped me roll some of my 401k into their AI crypto trading platform. Very excited to see how it does. They beat Bitcoin by 250% last year. mattcrypto.com. It's super easy. Well, this guy just stole any future domains that I could have made. Well, sucks to share the same name, I guess. What is this all about? Let's have a look. Block Trust IRA. Gates Crypto. The Trump Crypto Revolution. Reclaiming Financial Freedom. What even is this? Yeah, I'll totally put on my information there. Quote from Trump, I promise to make America great again, this time with crypto. Yeah, we're doing so great right now. I mean, this is a start, I guess. Finally, breaking out of a... How long has this downtrend been going on? Since January 18? Yeah, it's about a month and a half, isn't it? Alright. Truth exposed. I ain't watching all that. My fellow patriots, I'm Matt Gaetz, and I'm here to expose the truth about why the DC establishment tried to gatekeep the crypto revolution. It basically is just like they're being selfish and they didn't want you to be rich. I kind of watched a little bit of the video, and this kind of got me thinking. I don't know if this is exactly what the product is about, but it would be interesting to be like, okay, I don't have money, but I would love to buy crypto right here, right now. I'm going to go to, and this is where the company idea comes in, the business idea, your business, your firm, and I'll say, look, I want to buy this amount of crypto. And you, as the business owner, will be like, okay, well, can you guarantee that, okay, we can buy this for you and have this under your name, and it will officially be yours when you do pay us that amount of whatever the cost is eventually, right? I don't know, we agree on a term like maybe 2 years, 5 years. You have to eventually pay up this amount. Maybe that's an exaggeration, depending on how big the balance is, right? And if the client ends up not paying for it, well, you as a firm already did buy it, and I mean, you bought it at a really good price, right? So you'd be like, hey, looks, thanks for whatever small payments you made. Sucks to suck, but you're not getting the product that you ordered because you eventually did not pay up by the time the term has ended. So we get to keep that. And if we're in profit, Yes, of course, we're going to sell that, and that's how we profit as a business. I know, we're scamming people, but no, we're not actually scamming, okay? Just, it's their fault. They can't pay. What can I do? But if they do pay, then, you know, you're like, okay, well, you ended up paying for it at the price of 68,000 right now, Bitcoin. And let's just say in, I don't know, 5 months, the price of Bitcoin is 100,000. Yeah, sure. And you've already made your $60,000 payment, I don't know, for one Bitcoin. Here you go. Here's your Bitcoin, and enjoy your gains. You're welcome, by the way, for having purchased it at 68,000 for you. I don't know. Am I crazy for thinking this? And then, like, to kind of limit people trying to ruin our business by putting orders at trying to buy at all-time highs, for example, we would be the limiters and being like, no, we're not allowing orders to be placed at these high prices. We decide when we start accepting the orders from the people. And we'll only start accepting that when prices obviously drop, right? But by then, you gotta have your millions or billions or whatever. I don't know how it's gonna work. This is just a little business idea I have. But this kind of got me thinking about that, which, it's interesting. And I don't even know if this is exactly what it's about. This is talking about AI trading or something? Is that what it is? Investing, I guess, just in crypto. What even is this? Block Trust IRA. I guess it's for retirement. Matt Gaetz hacked. Yeah, literally he does sound like he got hacked, but no, not really. He did post this as well on his other former representative Matt Gaetz account. Or maybe this is a scam. Maybe this is a huge scam. Like I said, I never heard of this company before, so it could be faked. Yeah, the fact that he posted this way after. There's another account. Former rep Matt. Oh, it's FMR rep, I think. FMR rep. I have too many R's. There you go. He also posted it on this account, which is why I think it's real and it's not hacked. He posted this video here. Same time, right? 2 hours ago. Unless the guy's dumb and uses the same password for both accounts. It could be the case. But this seems like an authentic video. And not AI. Totally not AI. Only 8 comments though. What? Alright. It's all just pedophile replies. Okay. Relax, people. Here's the one with the most engagement. Potential fraud alert. Was Matt Gaetz hacked? Doesn't look like he got hacked. He also posted this a week ago too. Plenty of polls. What is polls? Yeah. Okay. I have no idea what to think about this then. And he hasn't even replied to anybody about this, right? No replies? Nope, just literally this. Does he talk like this on every other post? I don't know, man. He rarely ever tweets, though. I covered this post. No, he does kind of post like that with, like, the spacing between. I don't know. I want to say it's real, but I really wouldn't even sign up for this, honestly. It's sus. It's pretty sus. Seems like maybe it is a hack. Okay, moving on from that. There's Matt Gaetz for you. Senate Democrats meet today on market structure as the White House's March 1st deadline on stablecoin yield negotiations looms, per Eleanor Terrett. Let's see. We obviously are hoping for the best on that, and so is Sam Bankman-Fried. Well, there you go. Why is the guy tweeting from jail? But anyways. Some guy said, okay, well, spoilers, but okay. He said the Clarity Act will be a huge milestone for crypto and a huge achievement for real Donald Trump. I was championing a similar bill to get crypto out of Gensler's hands when Gensler helped Biden's DOJ put me behind bars, once again blaming the Biden administration for him being incarcerated and begging Trump for a pardon. But watch in amazement as suddenly Sam Bankman-Fried doesn't have a bunch of political opinions nor post on Truth Social. Yeah, coincidence? He's really trying to get on Trump's good side. And, I mean, yeah, here's a spoiler, I guess. White House has confirmed that they will not be pardoning Sam Bankman-Fried. I agree, you shouldn't pardon him. Nobody should. But he's really just going at it as well and trying to defend himself as much as he can. Top 10 myths about him and FTX. I'm not reading all this, honestly, because we'd be here forever. But I guess here he is trying to debunk every claim, which he's getting community noted on these posts anyway, so. What else do we got? FTX was insolvent. It was not always solvent, so there you go. The myth that there were polycule orgies. There were no polycules or orgies. What? When withdrawals spiked, I couldn't raise the cash, so I filed for bankruptcy. Alright. Myth that bankruptcy is a crime, liquidity crisis is a crime, that outfit is a crime, poor risk management is a crime. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. IDGAF. No, it isn't. Yeah, what is with the outfit, pal? It should have been 100% liquid. No margin exchange is 100% liquid, and that's why that's what margin implies. Okay. I made a backdoor to steal funds. There was no backdoor. I stole your funds on purpose. I had a fair trial. No, I didn't. It was all stacked against me. The Biden administration, they wanted to take me down. Kaplan revoked my bail for trying to intimidate witnesses. He revoked my bail for exercising my First Amendment rights, for trying to help the debtors. Alright. After Biden's SEC throttled crypto and Biden's DOJ railroaded me, I remained center-left. That's fake. I was Republican in 2022, and I was leaning more to the right than to the left, or giving more money to the right. So he's trying to be like, look, Trump, I've been supporting you since 2022. Please save me. I started supporting you as soon as I started scamming the people. And then the 10th myth is something about the campaign contributions in Ukraine and Dems and lizard people. The only things private were my contributions to Republicans. Yeah, a lot of people disagree. But okay. What else do we have? So FTX was solvent. Who cares? Jurors, my jury cared. Why else would prosecutors make insolvency their headline? Why else would they get all evidence of solvency banned from trial? FTX always had more assets than debts. Yeah, that explains the big fat balance sheet. But the government painted a backdrop of FTX underwater for an entire year before it collapsed. Anything I said or did after mid-2021 was presented to the jury as if I knew FTX was secretly billions in the red when I said/did it. And Judge Kaplan prohibited me from showing the jury that the government was wrong. That's not what a fair trial looks like. Yeah. 11% chance he gets released from custody this year. Funny. Yeah, he's not getting the pardon. Trump's confirmed that. Nobody wants to give him the pardon. The Dutch cabinet, seems like our cyberbullying has gotten to them. They're reconsidering their 36% tax on unrealized gains after heavy criticism. That law would have been crazy. It would have taxed profits of investors that they haven't actually realized yet. So even if you haven't sold, if you're in the green, you're getting taxed on that, which is cancer. You should only be taxed on it when you sell. You shouldn't be taxed on it, period, honestly. But whatever. That's it's not in my place to opine for that, but okay. MicroStrategy. They're currently the most shorted large cap US stock, according to Goldman Sachs. And you know, the one thing that you shouldn't short, it's Bitcoin. Because this thing just liquidated $585 million in short positions in the past 24 hours with this excuse of a rise that we got. And it wasn't even that big of a rise. We're literally the same place we were 4 days ago. Like, okay. Or even 10 days ago. So I wouldn't really celebrate too early. Now, Bitcoin is up almost 9% since Jane Street got sued. Jane Street, if you don't know, we covered this on one stream ago, last stream, where it was Terra Luna, or Terraform Labs, I guess, the company behind Terra Luna. They were suing this company, Jane Street, for allegedly insider trading and selling off their share before the big Terra Luna collapse, where ultimately everything failed. They've got proof of it, and they're taking them to court. So, I guess this is like the crypto's revenge. Like, haha, take that, market manipulators or insider traders. Also, the dump, which used to happen after US stock markets close, has stopped for the last 2 days. Probably a coincidence. I really wouldn't pay too much attention to stuff like that, but yeah. I agree. I think we do need more time to analyze. Yeah, there's some more time left, of course. So, like I said, we're not out of the woods yet. Hey, remember Lighter, the hyper liquid killer? Well, this is your hyperliquid killer dumping. Bitcoin dumping to 47,500 on their chart, on lighter chart. That's crazy. Hey, why can't this happen to me? Why can't I put like a trigger order at $20,000? Have this, I don't know, Bing X exchange, crazy wick all the way down there. Even if it does that kind of wick over here, I'd be liquidated anyway. But hey, at least it'll rebuy me at 20,000. With my luck, it'll drop to like 21,000 and it won't drop to 20,000. But oh well. Yeah, imagine it just buys there, immediately goes back up and corrects itself to 68,000 again. It's about 40,000 profit right off the bat. And why does this happen? I think it's just the illiquid exchange or something, maybe something criminal going on in the background. I don't know. And also, BitMEX. Other exchanges have also done this by accident. I remember one time Cardano pumped to like 242 or something like that when it usually costs $3. That happened on Crypto.com once. I remember that. Why is Biden trending? Yeah, just people making fun of him suddenly on a Wednesday evening. Okay. But yeah, on lighter, rip lighter, I guess. Did they have anything affected here? Lit USDT? Nothing really happened. Unless you count it for this. What happened here? Do we know the time that this happened? It's a 5-minute chart, and this was posted 11 a.m., 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes before 11:15. Let's say that's 10:45. Is this around 10:45? That's 3 a.m. Nope. Unless this guy's using a different time frame, I don't know. No, you know what, forget it. I don't know how I'll be able to track that. But downtrend for that, hey, always has been in a downtrend. Ever since it came out. Yeah, I knew this wasn't going to go anywhere. Hyperliquid will stay on top. It will stay on top of Aster, and Aster will stay on top of whatever this is. Moving on. Nvidia. They surged above $200 a share after reporting quarterly revenue. Record quarterly revenue. They reported $68.1 billion, beating their estimates. Great for Nvidia. Let's have a look at that damn chart. That's also good for markets too. A part of the reason why Bitcoin also on the rise, I would agree. Just wick is what it seems like to $203.49, correcting immediately back to $195 as if nothing happened. But hey, I think we do, we already have the uptrend in our favor. We will start rising once again. Our all-time high is at 212. Absolutely possible on Nvidia. So good for Nvidia. What else did we have? Also, earnings for Circle, USDC. Not the stablecoin, but the company behind it. So, Circle reported Q4 revenue of $770 million, up 77% year over year, and $133 million net income, with USDC at $75.3 billion. What are we talking about that? Is that the market cap? I doubt that's the market cap. Oh, it is about the market cap. Oh, that's not what I meant. Where is market cap? Here. Yeah, 75 billion market cap. That makes sense. And a revenue of $2.7 billion alongside a $70 million net loss from IPO-related compensation. Yeah, that's true. I mean, we are still technically really far down ever since IPO. But this earnings was very favorable. Look at that. Going from $60 to $80. Lovely. Yes, this is my previous terrible analysis. And we're still down here. We're still worse off than even below these two downtrend lines that I drew ages ago. But I think this is a start. Look at that uptrend now. This should continue to do well, in my opinion, as crypto market has potentially bottomed. Will probably recover. I don't know, honestly. I don't really think crypto market has truly bottomed yet. I feel like it's going to be a process about months, right? Yeah, Bitcoin might rise to 80,000, as I mentioned, but I think that's just going to be part of a higher low. No, a lower high. Yeah, it's going to be part of a lower high, which would take us to a lower low, something around 50 something thousand. I don't know. People are calling for 40, for 30,000. At this point, I've seen it all, so I was expecting 66,000 to be the bottom ever. Didn't happen. Cycle breaking lows will continue to make new history every time, which fair enough. This cycle has indeed been different, hitting all-time high before having, topping on apathy or whatever the sentiment market is. Crazy stuff like that, right? This was interesting. Chinese startup company unveils a coin-sized nuclear battery with a 50-year lifespan. Now that is a good battery with nuclear power. This is Beijing's Betavolts BV100 Betavoltaic battery. It's coin-sized, so it's 15 times 15 millimeters times 5. It uses a nickel 63 isotope decay sandwiched between diamond semiconductors, wow, to output 100 microwatts at 3 volts non-stop for 50 years. No recharging or maintenance. It decays safely to stable copper with zero external radiation. Handles extreme temperatures from negative 60 degrees Celsius to positive 120. It recently hit mass production, perfect for low-power sensors, implants, or micro-robots. Stacks multiples for more juice. 1-watt version is planned soon. Okay. Lovely. Remember how Persona, who is behind Discord's age verification, how they got hacked, and I called it. I literally called it. I'm like, dude, Discord is now forcing age verification for all their users, and they're just going to get hacked again. Looks like they did get hacked. We covered that. And now they're cutting ties with Persona, age ID, and verification as a partner. Obviously due to this lack of trust that the people have now because of how, you know, third-party providers will get hacked irresponsibly like this. Another stuff that's going on. AI hacker used Claude to steal 150 gigabytes from Mexican government. Wow. Anthropic, man. It's being talked about a lot now. An unknown hacker used Anthropic's Claude AI to attack Mexican government agencies. We talked about the Claude new coding thing, that how it's very much well improved and it's going to take over your job. So, yeah. If you're in coding, of course, in computer science. The attacks happened from December 2025 to January 2026. Key facts. Hacker prompted Claude in Spanish. Wow. He told it to act as an elite hacker. Okay. Claude helped find vulnerabilities. Claude wrote exploit scripts. They suggested ways to steal large amounts of data. And the hacker jailbroke Claude multiple times to bypass safety rules. Okay, well, they put in the effort. Deserved, I guess. The targets included the Federal Tax Authority, SAT, the National Electoral Institute, INE, and other agencies. They stole about 150 gigabytes of data, records of 195 million taxpayers, voter registration details, that's dangerous, government employee credentials, that's even more dangerous, and civil registry files. Okay. This is one of the first clear cases of a frontier AI model helping carry out real cyber attacks. Anthropic banned the accounts and added stronger protections. Yeah, you better. Because it's getting pretty crazy. And also, the fact that AI can do this could be pretty dangerous. There was a study that happened. They discovered that top AI models, they're willing to deploy nuclear weapons in 95% of the cases during 21 simulated war scenarios. If we give AI power, they're just going to nuke the world at this point, if we give them that kind of access. So that's where the danger comes in, really. Now, the Pentagon also telling Anthropic, let the military use your AI, or we will invoke the Defense Production Act and label you a supply chain risk, a designation usually reserved for foreign adversaries. There was something that Pete Hegseth was talking about with Anthropic. He gave the Anthropic CEO, Dario Amodei, until Friday to drop the heavy safeguards on Claude for military use. Seems like we're trying to use Grok, we're trying to use Claude, we're trying to use the best to use it in tandem with our military. I say our military, the American military. Pentagon wants full unrestricted access, no more hand-holding on surveillance or killer robots. Oh boy. He summoned Anthropic CEO to the Pentagon, and it was not a friendly meeting. The Pentagon told Anthropic straight up, this is a shot or get off the pot meeting. That's what it means, right? Claude is the only AI running in classified military systems, and the Pentagon want the guardrails gone. Anthropic said no to two things, to mass surveillance of Americans and autonomous weapons. Now the Pentagon is threatening to label Anthropic a supply chain risk, which would nuke their contracts and force every defense contractor to drop Claude 2. He's giving him until an ultimatum tomorrow morning, and I guess we figured out that's going to be Friday. By Friday. Until Friday, yeah. So we'll see what happens. Hey man, is it a good thing that this thing is not even IPO'd yet? Because that stock price would be really volatile with this kind of news going on. A lot of talk about Anthropic. On the other hand, DeepSeek, they're also doing some stuff. So remember what happened in January of last year, 2025? A stock market crash happened due to AI, due to the release of DeepSeek. The Chinese AI startup, DeepSeek, is reportedly preparing to release its next-gen model. It will be DeepSeek V4 really soon. Last year, DeepSeek released the R1 version in January 25, and this is how the US stock market reacted. Nvidia crashed 17% in a day, erasing $600 billion. NASDAQ 100 dropped 3%, wiping out over $1 trillion. Just the magnitude of these things. Philadelphia Semiconductor Index dumped 9.2%, its worst day since the 2020 pandemic. And other tech companies like Microsoft and Alphabet dropped 5 to 6%, wiping out hundreds of billions of dollars in the market cap. Talk about the crypto market cap as well. We also saw $330 billion erased from Bitcoin and alts, dropping 8 to 15% in one day. Yeah, that sucked. The reason behind this dump was because DeepSeek was challenging the belief that cutting-edge AI requires $100 billion plus in hardware and energy infrastructure. The point is, they did it with like less employees and a faster amount of time and better than ChatGPT, which made the US market scared because China is better than them at making AI. This time they're coming up with something even better though. As per reports, DeepSeek V4, it's capable of substantially outperforming OpenAI's GPT-5 and Anthropic's Claude 4.5 in repository-level software engineering. Will we ever use DeepSeek in the military? I really doubt it because of the fact that it's a Chinese company. It can reportedly invest entire medium-sized GitHub, yeah, I'm reading this right, repositories in a single prompt, and also enables context windows to exceed 1 million tokens, compared to just 200,000 with Claude 4.5, so it's just more powerful. Looking at all this, it seems like once DeepSeek V4 launches, the next wave of correction will happen in overhyped AI companies, which will also bring down the stock market and the crypto market. Grok summarized. Literally just read the post, it's not that long. And my final post. Microsoft partners with Elon Musk's Starlink to expand internet access in rural and remote areas. Good. I would like this in my property in Ecuador. Would be great, because the internet over there is very unreliable. Yeah, it's fiber optic cable, but one tree will fall and it will destroy your power line, and it will take weeks to months for the guys to even respond to your ticket to get some technicians over there to fix the cables. And half the time they don't even do a good job, and it just ends up breaking again. So yeah. I think satellite internet would be the better option. Starlink is also great. We tried getting Starlink in Ecuador, but it's impossible to get it there. Like, nobody sells it. But now that I'm in Canada, of course we sell it in Canada. So I might just buy it and take it over there if I ever go back. But that's a plan for the future. Alright, that is all the news I had for tonight, guys. Yeah, overall, I'm not expecting 70,000 Bitcoin this week. You could start expecting that next week, and then 80,000 in the 2 weeks after that. It would only make sense. Crypto market structure bill decision, advancements, developments, I guess, that could work out in our favor. Let's hope we don't overreact to DeepSeek. War with Iran, really not much else is being talked about, but I guess in the least suspecting moment it will happen, which, yeah, it's going to catch us by surprise. So that's still in the background, preventing us from truly rising to our greatest potential. But if we do continue rising, I won't complain either. Just keep in mind, I will be selling around 80,000 at a break-even price. Because I need to get out. I'm scared. Alright, no, I'm not actually scared, that's just a joke. So that's all, guys, for tonight. I will see you tomorrow, and we'll cover whatever we have to cover. So yeah, like, subscribe, stay tuned for that.